Hello everybody, this is Imperator Z here, bringing to you another game played by my greatest, most loyal fan. Probably not anymore because I've been neglecting his replays so much that he probably just unsubscribed and isn't watching anymore. I don't care, I'm casting the game. He's called Viper and the last game he has sent me was very disappointing, so I'm hoping this Shattered Temple game is gonna be a bit more interesting than that fail of a Wenchi's fail thing. Yeah, whatever. As a hint for you Terran cheesers out there, the three barracks rush very early on. Uh, that's a lot better than the planetary fortress thing. It's very much harder to hold than, let's say, the planetary fortress thing can be countered by one worker standing below it. So it's it's I don't like it. I don't like it. Yeah. Control Alt Super Super Super. I guess it's a French key. The Super key or something. Super. Ce qui c'est français. Je ne parle pas beaucoup de français, mais oui, mais oui. And this guy thinking, voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir? Yeah, even I know that one. Even I don't. I know that song, and I'm not all that well versed in pop music, and I don't think it wants to sleep with him because it's empty. Let's not think about sex while we look at Zerg buildings, shall we? It's it's not a good idea. And worker-wise, these people seem to be about even. The Zerg goes pool first, which is weird. I usually don't do it against Terran because even 2 Raxes can be held on a fast expand, especially on a big map like this one. Unless he was afraid of close spawns, but that hasn't happened, and I'm not even sure if it can happen. I think Blizzard disabled it because these distances, they are nothing. They are seriously nothing. Yet he has to check. He is checking. What is he doing while he's checking? He's actually building stuff, which is a step up from not building stuff. Meanwhile, the Terran does as Terran always does, and this is the thing that makes everybody hate them. He's sitting in his base. This is my base. You don't get in my base. Indeed. It's the Marine. He smokes. No, he doesn't. No, the SCV, he's allowed to smoke. Guess he's a civilian and the Marines aren't allowed to smoke on duty. That, or they can't get the cigarette past the helmet, either way. We have a Zergling scout, well positioned. I always do that myself. We have a Roach Warren coming up for some reason. And still no expansion, which means, especially if you look at the supply count, that the Zerg already lost the game. He's behind in drones, he has no units, and for some reason he already has 2 queens. Yeah, this is a failure of a Zerg. I guess you could call this a roach rush. There's 6 roaches and 2 more coming right away, and they leave the base at 6:15. If this had been half a minute earlier, it would have been a roach rush, and he could have had 7 roaches going for the enemy's base, but this is way too late. And the distance is gigantic, especially if you consider that it's a 7 roach rush, or 8, whatever it is, a 6 roach plus 2 roach rush with some Zerglings. Yeah. And there's a tank out. Let's see, the siege tech is not gonna be done in time, but it's still gonna take care of the roaches very easily because... Ooh. Ooh. Oh, there's the bunker coming. No worries, no worries. Does damage versus armored? Yes, I thought so. So you can just take care of the roaches, and the marines are gonna take care of the rest of the damage. And this is gonna fail horribly. And this is the point in the game where, if I were a Zerg, I would usually just quit. You can't recover from this because you're so behind economically. He has 10 worker difference, and he hasn't done any damage whatsoever. Not a single point. Okay, so he's all-inning, which he has to. Good idea. Viper is pulling his SCVs, getting some of them destroyed by the circling armada. Actually, quite a lot of them. But no matter, the Zerg is still behind. Get those back mining pronto and you'll be fine. As for this, I don't like this. Don't do this. Don't. You could have sieged this thing up by the way. Yeah, now you see it. Now you see it, now you don't. And you're pretty much safe from any circling attacks. So what do? Instead of expanding and being macro awesome, you go Banshee. I think that's the only thing that could still lose you this game, pretty much, is going Banshee and the opponent being a bit overprepared for everything, having defenses. Would have been much easier to make some more siege tanks, take this base, and laugh at whatever the Zerg throws at you. Instead, you're letting him expand and macro out of this. That's pretty much like macroing out of a failed 6 pool. It's probably the same caliber. Oh, Baneling bust. You don't really want to Baneling bust bunkers, but there you go. And it's even been spotted by the Banshee. So Banelings die very easily. This is not enough Banelings. This is way past you. Way past the number you really want. A patrolling ling doesn't look like he's patrolling, it just looks like he's running left and right in fear and he doesn't know where to go. Oh my god, we're gonna die, 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 we're gonna... I thought there was like a push coming from one side or the other, but there's not. So could have been doing that forever. Good thing I didn't. My voice cords are thanking me. However much this Zerg player sucks, he does have nice creep spread. I mean, when I do it, I just plop it around everywhere. I don't really look, but this is nice. Like, it's all spread out. He must have spent at least half of his APM on it. It's pretty. Okay, that wasn't pretty. That wasn't pretty. Queen, you make things suck. The Zerg is now on 2 bases versus 2 bases of the Terran, and he still has almost no drones, so he could be mining about just the same amount on 1 base, though it does give him additional production, so he doesn't need it anyway. What he needs even more though is drones, because StarCraft most of all is a game of drones, as Whiteraw's alternative account would have it. And there we go. Not even sure if it's Whiteraw. Shut up. And everything dies from this tiny little drop. By now you should probably pick them up. Okay, this is a thing many Terrans do that I don't understand. Just letting your drop die. I mean, yes, it's usually better to concentrate on macro, but there's a giant difference between losing the whole drop and still having the 8 marines. That's a command center worth of Marines you just lost, and you could easily have saved them. I mean, maybe you were afraid of the two queens. I don't know. Eh, I guess I'm talking shit because this would have actually killed the medevac, but still, it grates on me. It grates on me. You could do so much. You could do so much better, because if you save the Marines, you're gonna be way more ahead. It doesn't seem like it. It doesn't seem like there's such a difference between still having the Marines and not having them. But believe me, there is. You want these Marines safe. You want them sound. Spending tab is looking remarkably even. But never mind that. The Zerg is so behind, he still doesn't appear to have a chance in pretty much anything. Yeah, you might want to scan. But there's too many creep terminals to kill them all. But still, it's the thought that counts. This sort of creep spread, you really can't get rid of it anymore. You should have done so earlier. You should have been pushing or something. And right now, this creep is there to stay. But it shouldn't really bother you, because what is there? This is nothing. You could do two things right now. You could expand and get further ahead, or you could just go kill him. I think you could just unsiege the tanks and A-move and just go kill him. I'm not entirely sure if it would work, but I do think so. You could do that, or you could expand here or here or here or anywhere and get so far ahead that the Zerg is just gonna cry and cry and cry. But somehow, Viper, you're not doing either of these things. I guess you really want to get rid of the creep, so there's a Raven coming. Can't really see another explanation for the Raven, because what's it gonna do? Point defense drone the roaches. The 3 Hydras, I think, would actually lose against the 2 Banshees here. No cloak, that's okay, you don't want it, you don't need it. The Zerg can just morph an Overlord and then it's gonna be useless, so it's not an investment you wanna have. Yeah, what's up with this? What are you actually doing, Viper? What are you doing? I think you're being a bit too careful. And while you're being careful, you're forgetting to build SCVs. Just now, there's another one, but I think at 17 minutes with this little happening to you, you should have like 70. I'm serious, you should have about 70 or so SCVs. And you don't. And I don't like that. You've been using all your energy on scan instead of mules, so it looks like your macro is good when it really isn't. Yeah, it makes it seem like you're playing really well, but you should have so much more stuff. I think you could easily be maxed out right now, which sounds preposterous seeing as you're only at 150, but I think you could be. I think I could be, and well, I lose pretty much all the Terran games I play. Which probably has something to do with the fact that I still don't train with them enough. Yeah. Just siege up. Now you could use your scans. Now would be a great time to use the scans. Scan now. Scanning is a good idea right now. Let's see. No energy. That's what you get for having good macro. Wait, there's no mules. Where did the energy go? Alright, you killed 2 or 3 creep tumors. Really though, it doesn't matter if the other guy sees this is there or not, because he saw it walking in. So he knows it's there. And yes, he could go for a surround with all the circlings, which he probably will by now, because you let him get that many. But instead of doing this and carving a little spot, a little white dot out of the creep, you could have just killed him. Really, you could have. Now the Raven's here, and the Raven almost dies. Looks like the vision range is quite good, which you sorely need. Point difference drone going down. This many Hydras, no fun. But building Hydras against tanks? I guess he was expecting the thing that some bronze Terrans do, where they mass 20 Banshees or something and then attack. But against tanks, you don't want these guys. Whew, this actually looks dangerous. Dangerous! And all the banelings die at the tanks instead of the marines, so Viper is still good. Somehow the units tab seems to show more units. Yeah, here's more marines. These marines don't need to be here. I guess they're okay. Never mind then. Yeah. I mean, you can win with this, so why bother? Yeah, why bother? 36 drones for the Zerg. And 48 SCVs for Viper. Bad Viper, you need more of them. And why are you killing this? Like, you could load an SCV in there or just build them up here. You can just float the building over, do you know that? Because this just helps circling run-bys in the late game. So, I don't really see why you're doing it. I mean, you can make towers to defend against mutas, and since you haven't seen any mutas, you've seen the spire, I guess, which has not been used and which should not be used at this point. I should stop talking because the Zerg lost the game in the first 2 minutes. But good job, Viper. Despite all I've been saying about the bad macro you've been having, you've been doing really well. You have been doing really well. I mean, the resources are high right now and whatever, but at this point in the game, that happens. And I did see you keep up production somewhat. So, was a good game. And I don't say that often because I don't see many good... Viper!